My name is Senora Barboza, and I am your student's Spanish teacher. I'm in room 38 at the high school, and I'm only here part-time. If you ever need to contact me, here's my email, barbozaL@bbhcsd.org, and I'll answer within a day. And then you have my office phone number there if you ever want to contact me by phone. So just so you know who I am and who your kids are spending their days with, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Strongsville, and I graduated from Strongsville High School. And then I went to Elon University, which is in North Carolina, and I studied French. I majored in French, and I minored in Spanish. I loved languages growing up, so I started with French in high school and kept going with my major. And then I decided to switch to teaching and finish up my Spanish minor and become a major. So I moved back home, went to Cleveland State, and that's where I did my education courses, and I did my student teaching around here at Brooklyn High School. And this is actually my 7th year teaching, my first year at Brecksville, but it's my 7th year teaching. And most of those other years I spent within schools in the Catholic diocese around Cleveland. 3 of those years were at St. Raphael, which is in Bay Village. I taught 7th and 8th grade Spanish for that school. But I have lots of experience with all different ages and grades, and I even have taught French before. So I'm very passionate about teaching languages. I especially love teaching Spanish 1, which I'm doing this year because I love being students' first teacher for a language. Now I'll tell you a little bit about my class. So your students are all online, at least for right now, and they're using Fuel Ed, or Fuel Education, which is different than what they're using for the rest of their classes. The rest of their classes, they're using Apex. But World Language decided to go with Fuel Ed just because the curriculum is a little more engaging and more in line with what we actually do at the high school. So we thought that would be more of a seamless transition when the students eventually do come back to school. So that's our online platform. I put the link here in case you want to take a look. You could just use your student's login. But I explained all of that in our first Zoom session to the students. So they should be able to log in, and that's where they're going to do most of their work. For grades, I'm going to use Progress Book. So if you go in and look at Fuel Ed, which is their online platform, the assignments have grades, and there's a grade book type thing, but I'm not going to be using that. So you'll just access Progress Book to see what your students' grades are. I'm going to move myself here. Okay, so my expectations for your students are that they'll check Google Classroom daily, because that's how I'm taking attendance. I'm going to put a question of the day in there for every day except Wednesdays. They answer that, and then their attendance is counted for the day. They'll also be working on their Fuel Ed assignments daily. And everything that they need to do, they'll have, it's called Agenda in their Google Classroom. I showed them how to access it already. But they'll click on the agenda, and then they'll go to the correct day. And that outlines, it's like a Google Slides show that outlines what they're doing for the day. So that tells them what they're doing, the activities they're doing on Fuel Ed. And then, of course, we're Zooming together on Wednesdays. And it might not be the entire class period, but it's a chance for us to review past material, preview something that's coming up, or just get some practice speaking. Since we're learning a language, it's important that we have a chance to speak because that's the point of it. And if you are interested in supporting your student, which I hope you are, since you let them take a language, I'm going to give you some ways to do that. But I always say, and I've told this to the students, use it or lose it. If you don't use Spanish, you're going to lose it. You're going to forget the stuff you learned. That happened to me with French. When I stopped studying French and started doing more Spanish, I forgot my French, and I kind of had to relearn a lot of it. So use it or lose it. And that's especially important since the students aren't in class speaking every day. They're doing the bulk of their work at home. So I want to give you some ways to support them so that they're getting some interaction with the language besides just using the computer. Everyone likes to watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is. There are lots of Spanish language shows, things for children all the way up to things for adults. So what I suggest is putting the audio in Spanish so they can hear the Spanish, and then putting the subtitles in English. So lots of great ways to practice with Netflix or any other streaming platform. Same with Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere that you listen to music. There are tons of playlists. If you just look up Latin or Latina music, you'll find lots of different playlists with different music so that they can hear Spanish in the music. And there's probably things that they've heard of before that are in Spanish too. There's a fun radio station. This is 87.7. This is Cleveland's Spanish language radio station, and it's fun to listen to. They're very dramatic, big mix of genres of songs, but it's fun to hear them speaking in Spanish, especially when they're talking about the weather and using numbers. Those are things that students will be learning, so that's great practice. There's a really great Mexican supermarket in Lakewood, and they don't just have Mexican food, they have a whole variety of things, and they also have a little restaurant area where they serve tacos and burritos, and it's really good, and it's just like a cultural experience to walk in there. It even smells like Mexico, so I suggest going there. And then finally, here are some restaurants. I tried to put some things besides your typical Cozumel or Mexican restaurants. We have La Bendición, they have pupusas, which are more from Central America, and that's in Cleveland, right near West 117th. I put Barroco on there, and they have a few locations. The original location is in Lakewood, and that's Colombian food. And then I put Luchitas on there, which is a really authentic Mexican restaurant, which is also on West 117th. So that's my little bit about our Spanish class and how you can help your students. I'll head back here. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email or call. And I wish your students the very best year. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.